All right, y'all. So welcome back to my channel. I'm excited because we're going to go over Daisy Jones and the Six today. Excuse the crunching noise. I'm not sure if y'all can see, but my dog has decided to eat dinner right now while I'm trying to film. So yeah, so let's get into it. So overall, Daisy, overall, out of 10, I would give this book like an 8.2. And so it's a great book, but there's some faults with it, and I think that is something that is like a personal opinion. So pretty much what this book's about is about Daisy Jones, this rising singer in like the 70s who joins together with a band called the Six, and the lead singer, Billy Dunn, and Daisy Jones have like a thing together, but he has a wife named Camila who it's his wife and he has kids with her, so it's his family. I love it. I love the year it's set in, like the 70s are such a cool like rock and roll age. Some caveats to Daisy Jones and the Six that I did not like. Maisie, are you done eating yet? Good lord, this dog's been eating a lot. But some things about it that I did not like. It took a little bit to get into the book. And just, there wasn't a lot of drama in it, which I guess is a good thing, but overall, like, I want a little, like, more drama, a little more pizzazz, like, fights and craziness going on. I just think that makes the book interesting. But I also didn't like the main love interests are Daisy and Billy, and they to me didn't really have like a moment. Like they have like one moment where they like kind of kiss, like they brush lips, but it wasn't like a moment where like I love you, you love me, we should be together, leave your wife, leave your kids. There was no moment like that, but I did like the way that it dealt with like alcoholism and addiction and sobriety with Billy Dunn, because he is this like raging rock star that does all this crazy shit, and then he transforms to a sober dad. I'm gonna, if you couldn't tell, there were spoilers in this. Pretty much they don't end up together at the end of the book, and I'm not saying I ever want a dad to leave his kids and his wife, but like I was rooting for Billy and Daisy during the whole book, and it just drives me insane that they're not together. It also drives me insane that Graham and Karen don't end up together, because oh, there she is. I love them together, and it just sucks that like the situation that they're in, and I'm not going to spoil that, but the situation that they get put in that ruins their relationship, like it sucks, and I really wish that Karen and Graham end up together. Eddie was a pain in the ass during the book. Maisie, if you go back to that food, I would go insane. But pretty much, Eddie in the book was not good. He is just a jealous little piece of shit during the whole book, so that just put a damper in the mood. But I'm gonna go through some quotes from it, and then we're gonna talk about the TV show because I thought that was really interesting. So I'm gonna start from the beginning. I have all these little tabs of all the quotes that I'm gonna read to y'all. So the first one was, I was just supposed to be the inspiration for some man's great idea. Well, fuck that. And that's why I started writing my own stuff. Great quote, great quote. That was a Daisy Jones quote. I had absolutely no interest in being somebody else's muse. I am not a muse. I am the somebody. End of fucking story. That one was good. This is from Karen. Men often think they deserve a sticker for treating women like people. Period, Karen. I love the Karen and Graham story throughout this book. It's a shame that they don't end up together. This is from Camila. I think you have to have faith in people before they earn it. Otherwise, it's not faith, right? Great quote, great quote. This is from Karen again. That's it. Just two bitches playing rock and roll. If you haven't caught on, this is like a very 70s rock and roll, we party all night and do drugs type of setting. What else? Another good quote from, who is this? This is Billy saying this, or Billy thinking this. This is Billy saying, I'm saying that when you really love someone, sometimes the things they need may hurt you, and some people are worth hurting for. That's why it's a dangerous thing when you go loving the wrong person. When you love somebody who doesn't deserve you, you have to be with someone that deserves your faith, and you have to be deserving of someone else's. It's sacred. That's a good Billy quote. Very in touch. This is Warren. When you think of me, I hope it ruins rock and roll. This is his quote, but it technically is quoting a song that Daisy Jones writes. And I freaking love this scene. Pretty much, this is like after Billy and Daisy have their like little tiny moment. She comes back with like a FU song, and she says in it, when you think of me, I hope it ruins rock and roll. So that's some powerful shit right there. Camila, for everyone hung up on somebody or something. This is also technically Daisy saying this, but Camila is like re-saying it. This is at the awards ceremony when they won. Daisy says this is for everyone hung up on somebody or something. And I think that's really great because like it's hinting at Billy, but it's not saying Billy. But yeah, everyone knows that Daisy Jones is in love with Billy Dunn. And that Billy Dunn really should be with Daisy Jones, but he's with his wife Camila. And personally, this is like my opinion. Everyone freaking loves Camila. I'm not the biggest fan of her, but oh well. Next, Camila. All I say is that when you show up for your friends on their hardest days, and you hold their hand through the roughest parts, life is about who is holding your hand, and I think whose hand you commit to holding. So this part is when Camila is taking Karen to get an abortion, and she like never questions Karen or makes her like second think back on her choices. She pretty much just is a good friend and like supports her through it. So I thought that was nice. And then Daisy. This one is a heartbreaker. She says, I fell in love with the wrong guy who is exactly the right guy, aka Billy Dunn. So yeah, that is Daisy Jones and the Six. I read this in one day. It probably took me, how many pages were in here? 370. I think it took me around like 5 hours to read. My dog chews so loudly. But it took me about 5 hours to read, which isn't that bad. It's a very good book. Not my favorite. It was a page turner, but not. And something that's really interesting about the way this book is written is that it's written in an interview form. I actually think it's easier to read than a normal book because it wasn't filled with a bunch of like detail. Not like a bunch of like the beautiful golden rays of the bright sun. Like there's none of that BS. I feel like some authors like kind of run away with in books. It's very to the point, like this is what he said, this is what she said, and this is kind of the setting that it's in. So I appreciate that. So it's very interesting reading it. It's different than any other book I've read, which I think really adds to like what I liked about the book, because I can picture it like just everyone in the future talking about the good old days, and I just really love that. But yeah, that's the book. I give it like a solid 8.2. Definitely a page turner, but I feel like you have to like this era and this type of writing style to get in this book. But there's definitely some good quotes in here that I enjoyed. But yeah, that's Daisy Jones and the Six, the novel. Now, let's get into Daisy Jones and the Six, the Amazon Prime series. So, my first initial thought was they did the casting beautifully. I'm also a sucker, for sure a sucker for anything Sam Calvin, like Me Before You, Love Rosie, what else was he in? Adrift. Pretty much any Sam Calvin movie I am obsessed with. He is beautiful. He is a great actor, and the accent. His British accent and his English accent are just chef's kisses. But I absolutely love him. Suki Waterhouse, who plays Karen, love her as well. Absolutely great actors in it. I think I know the actress that plays Daisy Jones, but I'm not positive if I can name something off the top of my head that she's in, but I loved her as well. Some of the problems with the show is that it took me really long to get into it. So like the first half of the series is kind of boring, and I'm not sure if that's because I already know what happens based on the book, but I just kind of like know there's not much in the beginning other than introducing the characters and setting the premise for Daisy Jones joining the Six. But it just was boring to me. And then it picked up, I'm not going to spoil everything, the TV show, but it picked up in the second half, and they kind of changed some of the dynamics between Daisy and Billy. Like, it amped up the romance, which is what I enjoyed in it. But yeah, it was just a little boring to me. I also didn't enjoy some of the changes they made. I think the changes that they put in it doesn't change the whole plot of the story. Like, you could easily just watch Daisy Jones and the Six without reading the book and know exactly what happens. But some of the things in the book and the show, which were obvious, like, of course there's going to be, like, Hollywood changes, but I just picked up on it more. So, sorry, Maisie is going insane, my dog. But, the first, like, big standout of a change is that in the show, it is 20 years after Daisy Jones and the Six break up this interview. And in the book, how many years is it? I want to say it's like 60 years. 60, 70. Yeah. No, Camila died when she was she was like 60 something. I'm trying to find it. Trying to get this right for y'all. Yeah, Camila Jones, she died at the age of 63, and this interview is a little bit after then. So they're probably in their like 70s, I think, when they're interviewing everyone. So that was one of the biggest changes, which I was kind of like, I feel like that was a cheap move by whoever did the production of the TV show, just because they said one of the main reasons that they didn't do the full like time period switch, or they didn't want to spend money on doing all the aging for the characters. I thought that was just kind of like a low blow, like it was a little cheap of them. So that was one of the biggest things. Some other minor things I picked up on was Camila does not join the Six when they first moved to LA. She stays home because she's like, her and Billy like kind of break up. And they get back together after he gets his record deal. That was like, if I get a record deal, we're getting back together type of thing. Some other changes were the way that Karen tells the group that she's sleeping with Graham. In the movies, they're on the tour bus, and she kind of like, people are accusing Graham of being gay, and she's like, no, F you, I'm sleeping with him. And I don't remember exactly how it goes in the book, but I'm pretty sure she just like kind of individually like tells like Camila, and then Camila picks up on it, and Billy picks up on it, and Daisy picks up on it, but she never really like outright says like, yeah, I'm sleeping with Graham. Correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been like a week since I read the book, but yeah, that's something. What else? Oh, when Daisy leaves Nikki, her husband, the band's not there for that, and the whole like fighting shebang scene, but in the TV show the whole band's there and they kind of like protect Daisy from Nikki because it's supposed to be like an almost physical altercation, so that didn't happen. Camila also does not meet Billy Dunn in a laundromat. She meets him she's a waitress at some hotel bar or whatever. So there's just like little changes in the TV show that made it more like Hollywood than the book. It's not my favorite show. Like there's some shows like Firefly Lane that's based off a book that I literally binged like crazy. It was a great TV show, great book. They did a 10 out of 10 job. Some people love the TV show that never read the book, and that's fine. You can have your opinion, but I don't know. I give it like a 6, a 7 out of 10. Not my favorite, not the worst show I've ever had, but yeah, that's my review of Daisy Jones and the Six, both the novel and the TV show. If y'all have any other book recommendations that y'all want, comment down below. I will get to them eventually. I read about 3 to 4 books a week, so if you have a recommendation for me, please shoot it down in the comments and I will most likely get to it within like 2 weeks. So yeah, thanks for watching and I hope y'all stay tuned and subscribe for more videos.